In this video, you will learn Adobe After Effects in just 10 minutes. You'll cover it all: importing, organizing, creating shapes and text, and using keyframes for animation. Importing and organizing your assets. This is the first thing that you need to do before you can get started really in After Effects. We need to import all of the media files that we're going to be working with. So to do this, we simply move over to the project pane, right click, import. And what we're going to do is we're going to do single file first. This is a single file import. I'm going to import a video file here. So I'm going to import that. So that's how to import a single file. But if we want to import multiple files, we can do the same thing again. Right click, import multiple files. Select all of your files and then import. What we need to do now is to organize these files. We need to put them into folders. So to make a folder, the easiest way is just to click the little folder icon at the bottom there. Or you can right click and then you can click new folder. Or you can just click the little folder icon at the bottom. And then once we've done that, I'm going to call this one videos. I'm going to make another folder and I'm going to call this images. I'm going to create one more folder and I'm going to call that audio. Okay, so I have the folders now. Now all we need to do is put the files into the folders. So we do that. I'm going to do the images first. So I'm going to select all of the image files. Left click and drag and move them into the images folder. And so now we've got rid of all of the images. We've got one here which is an MP4. This is a video, so we'll put that into the videos. Got another one which is a WAV, and then we're going to click on that one and move that one into the audio. Let's start creating compositions. Go down to the bottom here, and then we can click on the composition, and here you'll be presented with a settings dialog box, and you can just name your composition here. It's called comp 1, but we're going to call this my comp just for demonstration. My comp. And now we can choose what resolution we want it at from the presets in the preset selection here. There are so many to choose from, you probably never use anything else but these presets here. But if you do need a special resolution and setting, you can manually set it here and create your own custom composition. You can see that we can control the frame rate and various things such as the default background color. So if you didn't want it to be black, you can change that to whatever color you want. Okay, and after that, you just click OK. And then we have our composition. We can then start adding our own graphics. I'm just going to a very quick example here because we're going to go through this in a lot more detail in the next section. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to select an image and drag it in. And as we can rescale this, but just by pressing S. And I'm going to rescale this. So now, as you can see, we have imported our graphic onto the timeline of the composition called My Comp. Let's move on to creating and animating basic shapes and text so you can get a real feel for After Effects. So now we're into the section of creating and animating basic shapes and text. To do this, first of all, create a comp. Once you have the comp, right click on comp 1, new, and look for shape layer. Now you have the shape layer. What we need to do is we need to select what type of shape it's going to be. We're going to add. And we're going to say we want a polystar. So once we have the polystar, the next thing is we need to fill it. So we're going to add a fill. So we're going to add fill. And as we can see, that's red. So not a great color for a star. So let's change that by clicking on the fill and going down and clicking on the red color there. And then let's select a nice yellow. Okay, and so we have a yellow star. Okay, we can scale this by simply clicking on the arrow key at the top here to change it. So we can simply just scale that star up to the size better for us. Yep, and then move that up by clicking on it, and you can move it anywhere you want just by clicking and dragging and moving it to the position you want. Make sure that you're on 0 on the timeline, and we'll just position that again. Okay, so now we're going to animate the shape. If you look When you click down on the right arrow key, you'll see below you have this transform. If we hide the contents for a minute, you can see you have this transform, and you can see you've got anchor point, position, scale, rotation, and opacity. Make sure you're on the 0 at the timeline, and then from here we're going to click the scale, and this will add a keyframe. Now this is our final position, what we want it to look like at the end. So now we're sort of going to go back in time. Okay, so we move this forward to the end position. So say this is 5 seconds time, okay, in the future. Now we're going to actually scale this down to 0, okay, or you can just type in 0. Okay, and now when we press play, we can see that the star is animating and going bigger over time until it hits the final point. Okay, so that's given us a nice star coming in there, animating. Maybe we could add a little bit of position to this. So from here, we're going to go to the end point first. Okay, that's the end, and then we're going to hit position. We're going to go back in time, and then we're going to click on it with our left mouse button, click on it, and we're going to move it to the top corner here. Now you see there's a line drawn. That's the line that the star shape will follow along when it animates. So if I was to move this now, we'll see that, as you can see, that it's moving along there. Okay, so if we press play and see what we have. Yeah. Okay, maybe that's a little bit too slow, so maybe I'll speed it up a bit. It's at 5 at the moment, so let's put that in a little bit. So now we have a much faster animation. That's looking good. Great. Hi everyone, if you're enjoying this tutorial so far, be sure to give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below. What we need to do now is let's add a little bit more so you can get used to adding keyframes. Okay, on this one now, what we're going to do is we're going to add some opacity. Okay, so what we're going to do is 100% opacity, fully visible here, to not visible at all. So now when we animate, it will fade in. Okay. And then when it hits there, I think it'd be rather cool if we could actually rotate this star. So we're going to rotate the star now, but this time we're going to go from here. So we're going to click the rotation. So the star's finished. It's finished its movement going into its place position here. And then we're going to move it on maybe another 8 seconds or so. And you see here, you've got rotation, you've got a number, you've got this number here and here. This is your degrees for spinning, okay? You can do negative or positive, okay? And this one at the end this is like, if I put 1 in here, that would be 360. So let's make it spin 3 times. I'll put 3 in here, so it will spin 3 rotations. So let's see what happens now. So come in, start, stop, spins. Yeah, okay, so that's looking quite good. So we'll move that in a little bit because that should go faster, because I think it's a little bit slow. So once it comes in, rotates. Okay, now this is a shape layer, and on this shape layer, if you press U, you can see all of the animation key points that you've added. Press U again and it goes away. If you want to see it all, you just click down and then you just click transform, and it will show all of your attributes. Okay, from here now we're going to add some text. Okay, so how do we add text? Well, same thing, we right click, new, text, and so we have an empty text layer. Now on these layers, if you hit return on your key, you can name it. So I'm going to call this title. Yeah, and on this shape layer, I'm going to enter it and I'm going to call it star. So it's a little bit more meaningful. So this text now, I'm going to move this until we get to a point where the animation is ended. Yeah, so I drag it to that, and then I'm going to put this text title here. I'm going to move the title. So you notice at the moment we're on edit with the text. We need to come up here to the arrow, hit the arrow, the selection, so we can move it into the position that we would like it to be in. Cool. I'm going to just say, this is a star. Okay, position that. Same thing again. If you press V on the keyboard, it will change it to your arrow pointer straight away for you, to save you having to go up here every time to select the selection key. Okay, so from here now, that's looking pretty good. You've just scratched the surface of the After Effects universe. Want to learn more about this incredible software? Spend another 10 minutes and I'll take you to the next level of After Effects mastery.